Hey, good evening, guys. How's it going? All right, so I am going to, or at least hopefully, finish up the face of my jar tonight. And then I do have the lid to still do. So if I get this finished, I'll just go ahead and start getting this painted up. So where I left off, I think I've pretty much got all of the outside rows done that I wanted to. I've got all of these in, and I just last time sketched out 3 of these little flowers that I'm going to fill in tonight. And then let's go from there. So I'm not 100% sure if I want to do some more flowers. I think I might definitely have some room to. However, just not 100% if I actually want to. So, all right. Got my tools laid out. I've still kept open my palette. Again, if you didn't see the previous, I did go ahead and just put my palette inside of a Ziploc bag, and that will keep it definitely 24 hours, usually 48. And in this case, I can actually push it out to about 72 hours, provided that it's nicely sealed in the bag. So that really, really helps, especially with these colors here that I've kind of mixed, and I don't want to lose those colors. And now personally, I don't use like little paint packs. So just a good way to save some paint. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with this little yellow guy here. Let me make sure I have my orange handy. So I'm going to want that in here. I'm going to go white on white here. So I wasn't 100% sure how my flowers were going to go, where I wanted them. And had I thought about it just a smidge more in advance, I probably would have laid down more of my circle. Drag that out a little bit further instead of leaving as many gaps as I did. Just for the simple fact that I like the way that the swooshes and the flowers look when they're over the dots, like I did here with this green one. Having them under is perfectly fine too, but it's a little harder to go back in. Oops. There's something here, and I don't know if it's an imperfection in the glass or maybe a piece of glue from the original label. There's kind of like a little lump there. Okay, all right. Around that. Now with these ones here, I actually did do just the dot and drag initially for the base, the yellow, the white, and the blue here, but I went up a size. So I'm gonna go back to the drag. Whoa. I should have still enough paint. And as long as I don't forget, I do also want to go back in with my yellow and make sure that I'm getting the centers of these flowers a good second coat. Okay. gonna drag a little sideways. That one is so light. I think I want to go back over the yellow too on this one as soon as that dries. Okay. Wipe that white off here. I think I'm gonna go, let's see if I can do some green here, I think. Well, do I want green or do I want blue? I have two blue shades up here. Just trying to think what color combinations. Maybe I can make this one like a purple. This one's a little too close to this one. You know what? Let's see. So I can get some dark green in here. Right side of the tool is great. Oops. And normally by this point, I would have already cleaned my tool off. But since these are so informal, I don't really care much about the strict uniformity of the shape of the dot. A little bit more paint loaded here. I'm gonna have to leave that. I was gonna put another swoosh in here, but this particular jar has some dots down here, some raised glass, and that's not gonna work. So, all right, so there's that one. And what do I want to do for the blue? Keep a hold of my 2.6 here. I think I decided that I kind of want to stay with the purple and do this kind of purple. Now I'm going to have to mix up some more of this purple as well because I was pretty stumped as to what I wanted to do. It's pretty thick and I don't like that. Okay. But anyways, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do for the lid color. Oh, did I just do that? 1 second. Look what I did. Just went right in. Okay, so if I'm lucky enough, oops, let me head out of the way here. Because the rest is dried, should just be able to wipe that away there. Need to do a touch up of that one anyways, so I'm gonna let that come off. Zoop. Okay, all right, let's fix that. Let it dry real quick. I'm gonna come back to it. Just try not to stick my finger in stuff again, Kay. Not paying attention. But anyways, what was I saying? I couldn't decide on the color that I wanted to do the lid. And I have all these beautiful colors, and I needed something relatively dark enough so that, you know, the lid color wouldn't shine through. And so I asked my daughter. I asked her opinion, and I shouldn't have necessarily, only for the fact that I knew exactly which one she was going to pick, and she picked this light purple. So I'm going to have to mix up some more or get a color kind of sort of close. Not going to have enough in that paint well there to do it, so I have to just mix up some more and hope I get kind of close. A big gap here, so some extra paint in there. Sure that's curved. I'm going to bring this one just up a little bit just because I have some extra room up here. Get that wiped off, and then let's go back here. Not going to be the easiest with this white now not dry, and then having to kind of dot over it. But make it work. Get that off. in the dark green, right? Yeah. Let's stir real quick. Looked like there was a little bit of film starting up on the top. Get rid of that. Okay. It's a bit thick there. Still. Yeah, that one's a mess. Okay. There, and let's get back into the last one here. And as I go back through the yellow, I'm hopeful that by that point, since the paint dries really quickly, that it'll be dry enough for me to go over this one that I just did, the petals as well as the center. We'll see. There. Let me see if I can go over this a little bit more. Whatever is on the glass right here is just it's not allowing the paint to flow properly right there. I've got like a little ridge in it. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. So I'll just add a little more paint, see if I can go right over the top. I think that's about as good as I can get it. Okay, super, super light stroke. Now then, okay, I'm gonna flip this over. Now, did I do a 3 here? Possibly larger, huh? I don't remember. It's been a couple of days. All right. My yellow's been sitting as well. Not that I don't have enough, but let's use what I've got in my palette. Yellow is certainly not one of those colors that I tend to use a lot, so. I don't like the way that looks at all. I have my bottle of paint over here, so. Give it a good second coating here. Keep almost dipping into that old one. There's that one. Okay. And I don't remember if I used 6. I think I used this. I think I used the rod for these ones, yeah. Okay. I'm not even concerned at this point if they're a little bit raised. So now the paint is a little thicker. Fine. This will settle enough anyways. There are those. Okay, let's try. I am on a roll. Let's try getting some of these lions, these petals, and this one here. Let's see. I don't have anywhere to put my finger. Steady myself out here. All right. Well, at least the white is dried enough. I can go around it. I'm going to try to drag these. I know I didn't originally, but a little extra color here. Better, I think. Again, just so it's not see-through here. And it's got to me. And then I can get these dots. And I think this one was the last one. Great. Okay. I like it, I like it. Okay, now then, let's set this aside here. All right, give me a second. See if I can find my paintbrush. What do I do with that? Dropped it in the bottom. Just gonna use a little craft brush here. Nothing special. It's probably a little smaller than what would be easy to do the lid, but whatever. All right, let's get a little bit of purple. A little more purple mixed up. I'm not necessarily going for the exact same color because I know that's just, it's not going to happen. But let me get something at least just a little bit lighter than the initial purple. I don't want the original really dark violet that I used, but I do want something dark enough to cover this and not have that see through. That's probably pretty good there. Okay. So obviously this part's not going to be extremely fascinating. Just going to get one coat on this here. Probably end up doing 2 and maybe 3. Especially with lids like this, I have been thinking honestly about using like a real fine grained sandpaper on the lids just to see, you know, if that'll help the paint adhere, so I don't necessarily have to do an extra layer. I think it doesn't necessarily matter though, because I probably would want to do another one anyways. Another 2 or 3. So, and right now I'm only doing the top as well. I'll go back and do the sides once this is dry. I'll lift it up just in my fingertips and do the edges. Just trying to get around this initial ridge. See if everything evens out okay. Ooch, right there. And when I do that, I'm gonna have like some wax paper probably underneath me. Wax paper, because I found that at least for me anyways, when I'm doing this stuff, if I happen to get a little bit of paint on the edge and it sticks, then I don't have like a piece of tissue paper or paper towel stuck to the bottom of the lid. The wax paper might pull a little bit of paint off, you know, worst case scenario, but that's okay because I can repaint it. It sucks to have to try to get something like a piece of paper off of the paint. All right, just get that once over. Make sure that I've got all the little nooks and crannies. Okay. It dries really, really fast. And then what I'm gonna do after this, I'm gonna take my stencil and draw the stencil here in the center, the same one as my jar up here. And just go ahead and do maybe one or two, maybe a series of like a big flower and maybe two small ones just on the side, and do a standard mandala around this. So I'll just probably keep the same color pattern just so that it's cohesive. All right. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That's fine. Let me get this wiped off. This is the only problematic part for me because I know it takes a couple of layers, and mixing paint just drives me crazy. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna scooch it out of the way. Try to get my fingers covered. Okay. So what do we think here? Let's make sure that I don't have any other touch-ups to get done. And I did see, initially I had left this spot right here in this white because my intent was to pull the flowers down into it, and then I don't know, I guess I just brought. So get a dot there, fill in the gap. I did purposely want this gap in here. Okay, the rest of that looks fine. I could put in one more flower over here. I don't know what color. Not really sure what I want to do for color there though. If I do another one here, I'm gonna have to wait an extra day then to get that in. I kind of like it the way it looks right now. I think I'm okay without having another one here. I could definitely fit one, but I'm kind of eager to get this one finished. Yeah. Am I happy with it? I'm just doing a quick check, make sure that there's probably room. here in between. For an extra accent, but my eye falls here. Let me think here a second. There isn't anything here as far as the white. And that's going to be pretty difficult, I think, to try to go back in and fill in because these aren't equal. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. That's sort of disappointing. So I guess my quandary right now is, do I want to go back in here to these spaces and put something tiny? You know what I could do? One second here. I thought for a moment what I could potentially do is I've got this champagne gold, very, very, very light. Very pretty. And I was thinking, what if I take and use it to do some highlights in here? But then, I don't know. Adding another color to it just doesn't seem like the right move. You know what? I think I'm gonna leave it as is. I think I'm getting a little too antsy to add more to it. And if I'm not careful, I'm gonna ruin it. I'm not gonna like the outcome. So, all right, so I'm gonna leave it. I do have a couple of other projects that I'm getting ready to work on. I've actually got a couple. I've got 2 of these jars. So I might go ahead and my thought process recently has been, okay, with this, and I think I'm okay to lift it up. All right, I pretty much scrubbed off the expo marker that I used, and so it looks great on the front. However, if you look inside, let's see if I can tip this enough. You can see the marks. For the most part, who cares? It's on the inside of a jar. I mean, are you really gonna be looking at it, right? But my thought process with this though has been, let me bring out my stencil. For the most part, my stencils are not gonna fit. Let me show you. So normally what I'll do, obviously, is just go ahead and bring the stencil over the jar. What I have been pondering is if I can somehow do it this way, inside the jar. Fantastic idea, but as far as execution is concerned, I have no idea that that's ever gonna work. Now this one just coincidentally fits, right? But like this one definitely did not. The other thing that I was experimenting or thinking about doing is using a printed stencil, just like this, right? That just has this grid on it. Got some expo marker on this. And I did this once before with something completely different, but my idea was to print that off, insert it into the jar, and then use it like that, use the guide like that. So I might try that with this next piece, just so I don't have that stuff inside in case, you know, somebody really is going to be looking at that and may not like the look of it. You know, maybe if you decide to use a jar like this for flowers, or if it's going to have some sort of a clear liquid in it to where, you know, it's not going to be something like a rice jar, or, you know, that's going to carry pasta, or, you know, some kind of other craft supplies, or I don't know, whatever you want to put in it, right? It's a jar. Do whatever you want with it. That it's going to have a view from the back, that it's not going to have that. So, you know, like I said, I'm still a beginner. I'm not a professional. A lot of this stuff I really love doing, but a lot of it is trial and error. So I will let you know on the next project, or keep an eye out and we'll learn together. Okay, so I don't know necessarily that I am going to stream or record the next episode of this. I need to go back through and put at least, because you can still see through this, right? You can still see the bronze, whatever color lid through this, right? So I might leave this here another few minutes, just for my own sake, just to make sure it's dry to the touch, because it's a super thin layer. Put another 2 layers on it, and then essentially just repeat this process, right? Nothing special. And then I'll get some photos up. The next thing is I am going to be posting these videos on YouTube. They will be as is, no edits. So if you come back and you're interested, or if you miss it, go check that out. And that way I'll have the finished product. And I think that's probably the only editing that I think I'm going to do is this will be a 3-episode series. The 3rd episode, then I will just go ahead and include the finished lid and give you a quick show of the final product. All right. So sorry for the extremely short stream tonight. I know I usually am out here for another anywhere between 15 minutes and 30 minutes. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to start a new project out there tonight. And yeah, I mean, you know, who's going to want to sit here and watch me just literally paint a lid? All right. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, I am out on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and of course YouTube. And if you're stopping by and you wonder what in the world is going on here, if you have any interest, have any questions, feel free to pop into the group, the Mandala.art for the true beginner, and I will catch you over there. All right, take care, guys. Have a fantastic evening. Happy Easter. Enjoy.